Good evening, fight fans. Welcome to another great episode of Headkicks and Haymakers. I'm your boy Bodkins. What up, Rob? And of course, with me as always is Mr. Bobby Blunts. Bobby, man, Saturday night we'll go back to a little bit to get into tonight. But we'll start last Saturday, obviously, in UFC at Sacramento. And Robocop gets it done, entering his name into this top five stratosphere of the middleweight division, a wide open division. Really, like it is wide open. Who knows who the next challenger is going to be for Sean? He calls out Dricus du Plessis after the win. I thought a really great win. His best win, Robocop's best win to date so far, and really answered a lot of questions on Saturday night. Your thoughts on Robocop beating Fluffy by unanimous decision?
Yeah, great call by you. I believe you.
I had it by knockout, but
yeah. And that you led with, we kind of got some answers. I think we absolutely did, because in my mind, if Rodriguez was going to win, it was going to be early by finish, like maybe something similar to when Strickland hurt him with the body and was able to, capitalize. I envisioned something like that. I would not have thought that he could have. First of all, I don't get why that round wasn't a 10-8, but he in that second round, it looked like the nerve or whatever was compromised with Fluffy. He was just having a hard time dealing with those kicks, and to get knocked down that many times with that damage, I don't know what else they're looking for in a 10-8. But beside the point, Robocop did very solid those first two rounds, and I was just very impressed by it. It seemed like when Fluffy's wrestling would stall up against the fence and Rodriguez just had good enough balance that it really nullified a lot of Fluffy's offense. And by the time he was forced to really get stuff going, then the leg was out. So to me, I clearly thought in the fifth round that Fluffy basically needed a finish. I could get if some people had it closer, but easily his best win to date. Not someone that I'm really willing to call a contender yet, but at the same time, I don't want to dismiss him. He clearly should be fighting the top contenders. I think the Dricus call out was perfect. That would be my recommendation for another fight. But for him to really get that second wind after really having a down third round and stuff, I just found equally more impressive than if he would have just knocked him out in the second round or something. I think we really learned a lot for what Rodriguez has.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think you're right on the money. I kind of thought the same thing. The first two rounds, I thought, I actually bet him by knockout. And I thought he was going to get it, right? You're just thinking he's going to be able to get it, especially in the second round. He's knocking Fluffy down. Fluffy's on one leg. And kudos to Fluffy for, for willing it out, right? To gutting it out and gutting, he could have just really just, kind of ended it there in the second. But he really showed his toughness. And even in the third, I got worried, right? Because it looked like Rodriguez was tired, and Fluffy was starting to put on the pace. Okay, Fluffy's dropped the first two rounds. He's probably could win these next three rounds, if not get Rodriguez out of there. That's what I was thinking, halfway through the third, because it's just oh, here we go again with Robocop. His one, I think, was the Cannoneer fight. Similar situation, looked good early and then just gassed out late. And you saw him in this fight, okay, dropped the third. I thought he bounced back and won the rounds 4 and 5, and and won the fight. And so I was much like you were saying, I was impressed. Okay, his cardio, the question we had about his cardio has been now checked, right? Okay, he can go all 5 rounds. And the pace, not very many people are going to put the pace on like Fluffy did for all 5 rounds. It was an absolute war Fluffy kept trying to do takedowns after takedown after takedown, and he kept, stopping a lot of the takedowns. Fluffy had to switch to the to southpaw due to the severe leg damage that Robocop was giving him, and it was a nice win for Robocop. You don't think Drickus is a little too steep? I was thinking I'm on the lines of Brendan Allen more than I am Drickus.
I get the too steep part for sure, especially because I do think the guys at the top of the division that have better defense, he might struggle with, because that was kind of the one thing that has stuck out with all the fights. Like Fluffy did have, some success in the striking early and stuff. And I think if he were to fight the champion, I think that would just be a nightmare matchup for him. Like he would just really struggle with that. And I do think you're correct with Drickus as well, about it maybe being a little bit too much too soon. But at the same time, I would have probably said similar things with Fluffy, and he passed that test. So I can't really slide him for making that call out, because those are the kind of guys he should be getting in line for.
Right. I guess if you want to be the champion, you gotta kind of go through one of those guys eventually, right? Like you gotta kind of. Him and Joe Pyfer would be fun though. Also,
Joe Pyfer is another very interesting one. They're definitely some good options. To me though, if we're gonna do Arnold Allen, if I'm Robocop, I would be
Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen.
Yeah, who'd I say? Arnold Allen? Okay.
Yeah.
My bad, Brendan Allen.
Wrong weight class.
I wouldn't be opposed to the fight, but if you're Robocop, I think you have a right to be like, hey, I was just able to, get through Fluffy on a main event stage. You had this guy fighting Shabazian, so
right.
Though I wouldn't be upset at the fight, I do understand why he's calling for that top three. I mean, we're assuming Imavov gets booked with Strickland, but Nasruddin Imavov versus Rodriguez would also be extremely fun. But I also do think Robocop would struggle with a lot of the defense in that, with how fast Nasruddin's hands are.
Yeah, your favorite fighter, Kyle Baharo, is right there, right in front of him at 6. So that wouldn't be it.
I think this might be the first time in history that there's been a moment to match him up, and I haven't even mentioned or thought about it. That's a very good point. That's equally fun. What am I going to say against that? That Brazilian on Brazilian crime. Why not?
Yeah. It'll be interesting who they match him up with. I do think I like the lower half of the top 5, like Pyfer, Allen, or Kyle, before I throw them to Drickus or Hamzat or Nasruddin, if Nasruddin doesn't get the title shot, which who knows what's happened there. Rob wants to know, what do you think sucked worse, the UFC co-main in Sacramento or our Guillotine league teams? Probably the co-main.
I mean, my team, I think, was ranked 3rd in points. So
I'm at 10. I'm in the top 10. I'll take that.
That co-main was abysmal. Good luck asking me about that. Complete waste of everyone's time. Terrible.
I want to ask you about Fluffy Hernandez. This is two losses in a row. He's now dropped 9. And, he lost to Strickland, who obviously is now the title. Is the champion. But his last win was against Roman Dolidze way back in August of last year. So it's we just saw Roman now at 205 on the same card. What do you make of Fluffy? Was it too much too soon for him, or what here for Fluffy? Where he needs his fight down, obviously, in the rankings.
I'm glad you mentioned Delice because the first thing I wanted to point out is I think a lot of people overrated that win, but I found it kind of funny, like watching RDR like just dispatch of him, and then people are like, "Oh, Delice is just terrible. He's done." But when Fluffy did that, it was, oh, we got someone that's for the 185 title.
Right.
But like I do think Fluffy should take a step back. I do think he could also get back on track, but it's really hard to not label this a setback like two in a row. Granted, the Strickland loss has aged tremendously, but with where we thought he might be going, it is definitely a setback.
Yeah, it's been a down year. I mean, before the delete fight, he did beat Brendan Allen, so like that's Brendan's the top 5 guy now. So that was a decision win. But yeah, it's just you got to wonder like where does he go from here? I think you mentioned his last fight when he lost to Strickland. Yes, he should maybe go down to 170. He said he could never do that and won't do that.
Yeah, no, there's no reason. Why would he go down to 170? Like, what? There's still plenty of fights for him to win at 185 with that division he's in. That's why I'm not shutting the door yet. He's plenty of time to improve. But like for me, I just hope he could like work on figuring out other types of offense if the grappling gets nullified. Because it seems like if one of his plan A's goes out the door, it's a very difficult fight for him.
I don't know who's echoing. I'm not hearing an echo on my end or your end. Are you hearing an echo? Rob said one of us is echoing.
It might be on my end. Let me try to fix it.
Let me maybe if I turn my volume down, that might be a little bit better. So for as far as like who's next for Fluffy, here's a name I really like and it would be interesting and fun. Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's 13. Like Fluffy's in Fluffy is 9. Like he's got to fight down in the rankings, right? So like either him, like you have CLD right there at 11. But I think him and Bo Nickel would be fun.
I don't hate it.
So it says I think I turned my volume down on my speaker, so it could have been. It's probably echoing from my. I turned my volume down. Maybe that'll help.
Let me just grab my headphones. That'll probably fix it.
All right. Thanks, Rob, for telling us. We're trying to run a professional type scenario here. So yeah, I really think that would be Fluffy on the other end while Bobby's getting his headphones. It'll be interesting what they do with him. I think he's probably done for the rest of the year. 2 losses, you recoup next year. Yeah, it was me. It worked. All right. Yeah, I had my volume up too high and it was echoing through. It's probably picking up the volume and then picking up through my speaker and then re-echoing it. So that was probably it. Turn the volume down. Thanks, Rob. That's why you're the number 1 fan. I think that it was me. It was me. I had my volume up too on my computer. You're muted.
Right there now?
Yeah, it was me. It was me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I had my volume up on my computer too loud. Thanks, Rob. But yeah, let's kind of run down the rest of this card, Bobby.
Real quick though.
Yeah.
I agree with what you said about the Bo Nickel thing. I do kind of think that would be appropriate, not for Fluffy, but also on Bo Nickel's side,
Right.
I'm just kind of curious if the UFC would also see it that way. But I think that's a very compelling fight. And, Bo kind of figured some stuff out after the DeRitter loss. So I think that's kind of where both guys are at. So that would be my dream one if I could, have one.
Yeah, I think in two elite wrestlers, right? Like, so it'd be interesting. Like, would that negate it in those types of things? So, um, yeah, I mean, Fluffy. One thing we learned from Fluffy on Saturday, he's a tough son of a bitch. Like those guys, I think one on one leg to gut it out 5 rounds like that, and to continue to pressure and put it on, try to put the pressure on Robocop. I mean, maybe that was the crowd and everything else, and in his hometown for the most part. But I thought
I
it was
appreciated how the crowd stayed with him the entire fight too.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
that was a kind of cool setting to see.
Yeah, and kudos to RoboCop not letting that bother him either, right? Like, and that was tough fight, and he kind of said so much on the Ariel Hawani show. We don't really, like you said, we don't really need to talk about the heavyweight slop, as you like to call it, on the co-main. That was kind of crap, but RDR does.
What was the point of that though? Like, realistically,
I don't know. Why wasn't the RDR fight the co-main?
That is just I don't have any way of explaining how that made any sense. That was just complete slop. Yes, please lead with RDR. Sorry for cutting you off.
Oh no, he makes quick work of Roman Dolidze and Delitse, I guess. I always say Dolidze, but Delitse makes quick work of Delitse. I don't know what Delitse was doing, but RDR gets the win. Now he's in the light heavyweight division, a very thin division. I really think just go ahead and let's just give him like a real top guy. He's like him, and I think Robert Whitaker. Like we don't want to run that back at 205. We're going to wait. We want to wait, but I really think giving him somebody that is kind of up there. Like this is a guy that's proven he was making his way through the middleweight. So like, why not give him like a Khalil Roundtree or Navajo Sterling or somebody like that?
Wow, you're going to the very top, huh?
What do you want, Dominic Reyes? Like RDR is not. He wasn't ranked.
When you look at the state of 205, I do think it is more fair. I think DeRitter looked a lot better at that weight. He did not seem drained or anything like that. So definitely was, understandably very emotional afterwards as well. So it was good to kind of see him just get the ship right back on track there.
Rob wants to buy or sell the current state of the UFC heavyweight division is the worst division in UFC history in the modern era.
I can't buy any more stock on that because my account is already full with that statement. So
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's been a women's division. Is it worse than the women's like bantamweight division currently right now?
No, don't cop out. Just compare it solely to the men's. Do not, absolutely not.
But
men's division.
In the men's division, currently it's the worst. I will.
Thank you. There's some exciting gems though. Like there is reason to be hopeful.
But at one time the flyweight division wasn't very good, And
now it's the best division in the sport.
Right.
So yeah, these things can change very quickly. But it's just it feels like a chore the most with the heavyweight division.
It does, because it's either you tune it in because it feels like it's either a quick knockout or it's 15 minutes like we got on Saturday night. And you could tell right halfway through a first round.
No, you could tell in the first 20 seconds of that fight that nothing was going to happen. It was oh man. I don't know if like the reason they put RDR on there as the featured was they were maybe concerned of getting a similar result that they got in the co-main for that fight. But like just off like name and merit, I don't understand why that was
I didn't understand it either.
Event.
Yeah.
Because it would have had a much like better I mean, Josh
Hogan is
Hogan
good,
is
though.
very good. People just
He's
don't want to
good,
admit
though.
it. Yeah.
He is good. Like, you have to admit that he is good.
Yeah. I think he could probably beat Pereira if they matched him up together. I'm not saying I would pick him, but it's if you're going to tell
You
me
wouldn't be
that's not
surprised if he won.
yeah, if you're going to tell me that's not a winnable fight for Josh Hogan, I think you just despise the guy, especially with how slow we saw Pereira at heavyweight. You know,
is there a fight that you don't name a fight? While we're talking about it, before we get off, we'll get back on track here in a second. But like, is there a fight that in the heavyweight division you don't think Josh Hogan could win? Maybe Tom Aspinall, maybe. Like,
I still definitely have some questions with guys at the top there, and they would all be kind of included in that. But yeah, I mean, he's basically already beat all the other. The list is getting like shorter and shorter. Like
right.
Volkov is very intriguing to me. You know, but a lot of them are probably more 50-50 in his favor before we get to, you know, Gon and Tom would both be extremely interesting just because of how fast Hogan is.
Yeah, he said Hogan are surreal. I would like God. I don't know. I'd favor Hogan because of the wrestling.
I would comfortably pick Hogan, but I do also acknowledge my most toxic trait is fading Cyril Gane, even though he continues to win. So take that for what you will.
But back to the RDR. Yeah, throw him to the deep end. I mean, they already put him at 9 in the rankings, Bobby. Like,
bro, like how great is it that the co-main event was so bad? We just went on a 3-minute rant about one of the exciting contenders at heavyweight because it's like, well, there's nothing to really discuss going forward at heavyweight with this fight. But how about that, Josh Hogan? So
yeah,
well done, Rob.
Yeah. If you really think about it, actually, by looking at these meta rankings, they have Alex Pereira still at 1 and Jamal Hill 5. So if you take those two names out, really RDR is like top 5 already.
Yeah. You know my stance on this. Like, why can't we just merge both divisions? But you know, you figure eventually they'll like kind of iron some of these kinks out. But I've been so I like don't even bother looking at the rankings anymore because like what purpose do they really serve anymore? And this isn't even like because of the meta stuff. It was before they were making matchmaking. Like they had Brendan Allen fighting Shabazian.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
you know, they clearly don't look at him to matchmake.
No.
So why should we?
Yeah, but I'm just saying throw RDR to the deep end here. I mean, why not?
Him and Roundtree, I think would be very cool. I don't think it wouldn't be. I'm trying to figure out what we actually consider the deep end at 205. I think that's what's throwing me out. If like Khalil is the tier for that, then sure, throw him into the deep end. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I think that is right. Like, so just off the rankings, Magomed, Yuri, Paulo, and Khalil Roundtree.
Am I a sicko for wanting to see him versus Yuri? Like,
no, I thought about that too. I thought that would be a fun one.
Yeah, I think that would be very fun. Actually, I don't know. You've always been a little bit higher on Khalil than me, I think.
Yeah, I just like him. I think I like his style. That's probably why.
Yeah.
So
it's a fun style.
Yeah. Bobby next RDR rematch. No, so both of them said they don't want to do that at this point in time. So.
Yeah. At the same time, if they book that, it answers equal questions. But I could see why both of them are like, no, I went up in division. Like, let me fight someone else. I could see the canceling out of what was the point of moving up if you're just having me fight him.
Yeah. Also, nice. Mason Jones got upset. You shouted him out last week. He was a huge favorite, and Markel Murdos kind of knocks him out. Really, I mean, Jones just couldn't quite go down, but I mean, Murdos kind of gave him the business a little bit there. That was a fun fight, well, as long as it lasted.
Yeah, I didn't realize the odds were so wide on that. I definitely think they could have been a lot closer there. And yeah, Mason started good, but he took a lot of shots. And
He did.
that was, I have no doubt that he won't be back, though. He's a very fun, stylistic fighter, fan friendly. And yeah, I'm even more kind of interested, like with what they do with Markel off this too, because that's a very good quality win on the main card of a fight night card. So yeah, when you're playing those type of games of exchanging, someone's gonna go down quick, and unfortunately, it was Mason.
Yeah. In speaking of quality wins, and a name to get to know is Carly Judas. She had a KO win as well Saturday night, and is now entering into the women's flyweight as somebody to kind of pay attention to here.
Yeah, I mean, she's always been fun when she's fighting on the card. It's going to be an entertaining fight, more or less. She's got, kind of a finishing style, which is very rare in the division in general. And I'm really glad that they put her on the main card for this, and she was able to kind of shine in this moment too. So I'm sure, they'll book her again real quickly. Was she ranked? She's ranked now like 15, or did she go up a little more?
Let me look. She is now 15.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds about right. We've seen her get in trouble in the past, but at the same time, we know if she wants the fight to go her way, it very well could. With I love like the body work you see from her and stuff, and just kind of the mentality of going out there and trying to finish the fight. It's not always going to work out, but at the same time, that's also how you get elevated to the main card instead of fighting like the second card on the prelims or something.
Yeah, a person, I wanted to shout out to a person. Hopefully, she starts getting on the main card, and that's Chanel Dyer, another person to watch here in the women's strawweight division. A division that needs some, life into it, and she's, she came. Elisa Reed. Elisa Reed just had no answers from, really start from the start to the finish, and ends up getting the KO in the third round. They probably didn't even send Reese out there for the third. But Dyer had a nice win, and she said nobody wants to watch this bullshit jiu-jitsu. Like, they want finishes, and I'm here to fucking get finishes.
The finish was combination punching. I think that's taking it a little light. That was the worst officiating I've seen in a long time.
They could have stopped that fight a long time.
Homie looked like a deer in the headlights. I think he eventually told her to fight back, which really, I'm like, wait, she hasn't been fighting back for like the last 15 seconds. But
yeah.
So yeah, that could have got stopped far earlier, but Chanel Dyer definitely showed out. So definitely the type of performance you want to have, like you said, to kind of get that elevation. I'm sure that'll be coming down the line, and especially where she's from too. That could be a big deal for future London cards and stuff. So kind of the homegrown talent.
Bobby, real quick, I got to give out. My shitbird of the fucking week has to go to Kennedy Nezamukuwu. What the f is that guy doing? Thinking he was Anderson fucking Silva? I mean, I just want to be like, you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy. Like,
Maybe this is what they thought they were gonna get in the co-main event. Was just someone, blindly rushing in and getting clocked.
Well, he was standing back doing the fucking trying to do the Anderson Silva head bob, and just Kaziev said, "Okay, I'll help you out here real quick."
Yeah, it was pretty comical to see. Yeah, that was just, good for Shaziv, but awful.
Yeah. Bobby, I want to talk real quick before we look into this some other stuff here. But Chris Cyborg finished her, I guess, I don't want to say her MMA career, but her fights in PFL / MVP, whatever the hell you want to call it, seems to be like she was is kind of done. I'm not really sure. We know she ain't coming back to the UFC ever. But your thoughts here on Cyborg? She wins in a unanimous decision of what's her name? What was her name? Lady she just beat.
Vieira, I think.
Kellen Vieira, that's it. She and she missed weight by 4 or 5 pounds. Like, how do you do that? 7, 8. Yeah, I was thinking 8 in my head, but 7 pounds. Like, at 145 nonetheless. So she was already complaining, and luckily Cyborg gets it done, wins. Your thoughts here? Maybe was this the last time that we do see Chris Cyborg in an octagon?
It's hard to say. I could see it going.
She's 40-something years old, Bobby.
Yeah, no, you definitely see her slowing down for sure. Quick shout out on the Sacramento card for Chris Padilla. That finish at the very end continues to be undefeated in the UFC, so kudos to him. Back on Cyborg, the way that this fight was billed was like kind of surprising. Like, I knew it was coming up, but it just like creeped up on the schedule. It's how they were ending their summer series. And when you saw her miss weight by 7 pounds, you just kind of roll your eyes because you just assume something like that they weren't trying. And I'm not sure if she came out and said it was maybe health related, but it did kind of like damper, I think, the moment for Cyborg a little bit, knowing that this was probably going to be her last fight. But credit to her for taking the fight. It did seem the longer it went on, she was kind of dealing with an opponent that came in 7 pounds overweight. And that's what a lot of the slowdowns do. I mean, Dan Hardy was saying that he thought it was 2-2 going into the 5th. I did not, but I guess, in real time, I can see why he would come to that assumption. But she definitely like at least dropped around, and you saw her getting slower. But with her post-fight interview, it sounded more of like a it's like similar to Usman, like pretty much like, hey, I still want to fight. You want to make me a fight, give me an offer. And whether that's in boxing or the PFL, granted, they can do both. So, if you were to put it at, was that her last performance? I would probably say 40% no, 60. I would say 40% yes. No, 60% at least. It's above 50%. I think she fights again. Yeah.
I would try to say 60%.
This is why I don't do math on the show.
Yeah, I think I got you. I think what you mean is say 60% no, she is going to fight again, and 40% yes, she's retiring.
Yeah, and I think I would I would put that more for MMA because I think her boxing is just as live. And, obviously, if they were to offer her Ronda Rousey, she's taking that. But
that's not happening, though.
Yeah, I don't think there's any like big fight out there that's going to make them like want to pay up, especially with the UFC door closed, So
yeah, do you think somebody so it seemed like to me like Gina Carano when she fought Rousey wanted to do it again. Do you think that's the fight that they do?
Gina and Cyborg.
Yeah.
I just really wouldn't understand the point of it at this stage. I would would I put it past them doing? No, but like, because you remember when they were like trying to match her up with Dakota Ditchva, Cyborg,
Cyborg?
yeah. And to me, it just kind of like showed the lack of options they really had to offer her. Because I mean, with Dakota, there's a clear weight difference with that one that it just really doesn't make sense unless you're trying to like get some momentum for your big star. So um maybe the PFL merger gives them a little bit more ideas for how to match her up. But ever since they've had her, it's been kind of difficult for him to match her up aside from the, Pacheco fights. So
Right. Do they? I mean, maybe Scott Coker gives her a call, but again, I mean, what 145 women are out there that's not that she can fight, and I do think like, do you think like when they look back on her legacy, like that'll be like she's definitely I think one of the best in just combat sports women of all time, like but like she doesn't quite
I
get the respect
I
that she deserves. Do you think it's because of the UFC reign stint was short, and then she got blasted by Amanda Nunes?
I mean, I think it's just because people have very short memories. I still consider Cyborg the GOAT. I know she lost to Nunes, but the longevity of her peak has to be taken into consideration. And, I would have no problem if someone would want to, like, obviously elevate Nunes above her because of that win. But I still maintain, like, for all of the fight. So basically, no for me. I don't think it will be reflected that way. But then again, like the short mindset of the revisionist history of thinking. So down the line, maybe. But I mean, she essentially fought everyone she could that was willing to fight her. That
Yeah,
is a big key with it.
yeah. It's a shame they never did. I always kind of wanted to see her and Rousey fight. I thought she could beat Rousey, especially at 145. I know Rousey was at 135, but it would have been a fun fight to see. Um, yeah, Bobby, what are you talking about? There's the worst division right there, women's 145 division.
Well, for one, that division doesn't exist in the UFC anymore. And two, I said I won't let you do the cop out and just go by all. That's why we limited it to male. So
Yeah. So yeah, I wanted to mention Cyber. I wanted to get your thoughts. I also wanted to get your thoughts on last night's contender series and Bella Mir. She was this huge favorite, a minus 6,000, the biggest favorite in like UFC history, and she ends up losing, a unanimous decision. I thought live time. Oh, I watched it this morning, I guess you could say. I thought she clearly won the first round. Second round was close, and I thought the third round was kind of close, but obviously didn't quite get the job done. Her first loss, I do think she's young. She'll be back. She'll probably get another shot at contender series, but I don't know how many fights outside of the contender series she can get to gain her knowledge in MMA. But clearly, I think eventually she'll belong, and I think we'll see things of her. She just this is just a bump in the road here.
I mean, if you're to spin it in a positive, she was apparently having issues getting fights booked prior to this. I think this will open up a lot more doors for people willing to fight her. So, and yeah, but like basically she was like scoring with control the entire time. She did virtually no damage. At first, I thought she was just trying to like showcase her striking in the beginning. I was kind of surprised she didn't try to level change quicker. But I think a lot of this just comes down to the betting market and stuff like that, because nobody should be that inflated of an underdog. I mean, we even mentioned this with like Gable Stevenson's debut fight. I know he won pretty quickly, but still, it's those type of favorites are just absurd. So I think that is a big part of it that is not being taken out of context, but a certain expectation is kind of set when you see a line like that. And then when the fight is actually competitive and came down to the last round, people are like, what is this? But
yeah, if you take the betting lines out of it, you're just like, well, that fighter was good, right? Like the other fighter, she was good. Like she held her own and she was calm in there. But you know what I mean? So like if you take like just put them in the octagon and you're like, well, this person's we think this person's gonna win, not, and we don't tell them the fucking negative six. You're a 6,000 favorite,
But this is the thing: if she did get that done, do you think they would have given her a contract? Because I don't think they would have.
No, I don't. I think they would have done her like Bo Nickel, but would have had the win.
See, to me, it was more of a when Dana tells the guys, get out there and get some more fights in, not in contender series, like get some more fights on the regionals. I'm pretty sure that is because you could tell he was pissed yesterday, like when he sat down, because he has some attachment to her because he knows her. So, fair enough to him for at least calling out his bias and not denying it like other stuff. But, to me, the reason I didn't find it like shocking, I know like the betting lines would say it's the biggest underdog in history. It sure really didn't feel like that because like it being anointed like that did not feel earned at all, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was. I'm right there with you. I think people just thought, well, Bellamere, we know she's this, collegiate thing, collegiate, great jiu-jitsu. Her dad's obviously former UFC champion. So I think like that obviously leads into because like what other tape do you have that can show me that she's a 6,000?
Not only that, how many of those parlay I guarantee you none of them have ever watched a Frank Mir fight. So, like they're like, oh, she's the mythical god of this person we've never seen in the octagon. It's like, yeah, maybe just, let it play out.
Yeah. That's all. Before we get into the Shanghai, Tom Aspinall, I guess there was rumors floating around that he was leaving the UFC. He came out and said that was not true. Like that's like not
so
happening.
This is one of the rare times where the statement actually got to me before whatever he was trying to combat. And I will continue to say this. What is Eddie Hearn doing for Tom Aspinall? Because legitimately, I do not understand the point of that statement. Like, just ignore it. Like, it was clear when I finally saw the thing that he was combating, it was clear nonsense and clickbait. Like, anyone with half a brain would acknowledge that. And I just don't see the point in saying anything about it. It just came off as, hey, everything's good. We're trying to work something out right now. When, if that is actually the case, what's the point of it going to like, did they actually think the UFC picked this up and thought it was a thing? I just don't understand the reason for coming out with the statement, unless granted maybe it got way more traction over in the UK or something.
I think
it just didn't hit my timeline.
Yeah, I think it just got a lot of traction.
Yeah, I mean, something goes viral, you just try to point it out, but
Yeah.
I don't know. The only news I want to hear from Tom Aspinall is them announcing when he's fighting Cyril Gane.
Same.
And it's not even like to Tom's fault at this point, but it's just been getting a little bit tiring, and I know he's trying to obviously figure out what he needs to do, but I think what he needs to do in the short term is get a fight to regain some of that leverage that he's trying to use.
Yeah. Bobby, let's go ahead. So let's take a look at this week's. It's not Pancakes and Knockouts Saturday morning. The UFC Shanghai is headlined by none other than Umar Nurmagomedov versus Song Yadong. You got Zhao Xiaonan versus Denise Gomez as the co-main. I'm not even going to pronounce this other Chinese guy's name. He's fighting Kai Asakura. And you got Alex Perez versus Summer Marjay. So it is obviously a Asian delight. How about my guy Sean Woodson fighting Jack Jenkins on this card? That's kind of gone underneath the Slender Man.
We haven't seen him in like over a year too, so good to see him back.
Yeah. The Slender Man is back in action. So, but yeah, let's. I mean, the odds. Speaking of the odds and Umar's a huge favorite. I don't see a path to victory here for Song.
I love this card and this fight. I've seen a lot of the same sentiments with just no one really giving a Song a chance. I get that Umar is very tough, but I think China actually got a good quality main event with two.
I like the card. Yeah.
You know, I probably will be picking Umar. I think Umar is not going to be afraid to strike with Song either. So I'm kind of interested.
-550 favorite for Umar.
Yeah, I think it'll be even higher by the time the fight goes. But again, the odds can mean very little depending on where it goes. It shouldn't always kind of be the metric. I get the guiding point of it, but and yeah, I've been liking everything I've been hearing from Umar lately. It sounds like he wants to get this done, and then he wants the rematch with Merab because
whether Merab wins or loses. It sounds
he's been very vocal that Merab is going to lose that fight to Yan, and he wants to fight Merab afterwards. I do like how he would prefer to come fight a guy coming off a loss to right a loss that he has over challenging for the belt. I think that's just pretty cool work ethic, and everyone wants to say that Umar is picky and choosy. He has a very hard time getting fights, so I want to give Song all the credit for taking this. I know they kind of switched it up on us too, because Umar was scheduled to fight in Abu Dhabi. I think this was a great choice and a matchup that made much more sense for Umar. So, I definitely think Umar keeps the train rolling here, but I'm not going to count out Song, especially with it being in China.
Yeah, I just don't see a path to victory. I like Song. I think he's a good fighter. I don't see a path, and that's a problem. I don't think he's gonna knock out Umar. I definitely don't think he's gonna submit him.
Yeah,
I don't think he can beat Umar for 5 rounds.
Yeah, I think all those claims are more invalid, and that kind of goes to that's also what the odd makers think.
Umar, by the way.
That's what the odd makers think with him being -600.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. Is there any other fight? Kai Asakura, heavy favorite here at -450. So hopefully he can get his second win as well.
I think he slimes him, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm very bad at picking guys on the card when it comes to this region, but I think he gets back. Very interested in Bilal Hassan versus Nielsen Rojas. Hassan is coming off, I think, week 2 of the Contender Series. And he's someone I thought they could have just signed straight out. So interested to see if he can kind of just keep that, early first round finish going. And then, they've had to find a way to sneak a Tafa on this card.
I don't see a Tafa on this card. think they pulled out.
Oh, well, I appreciate Verdict for not updating because you ain't gonna get any complaints from me.
I'm looking at the UFC website and I don't see no.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I do have. I don't know if you're finished with China, but I will get to the fight I'm most excited for this weekend if you care.
yeah, I don't really have anything else to touch on China right now. I'm interested in. I want to see the Sean Woodson. I want to see how he looks. It's like you said. Let me. I was gonna click on. He's taking on Jack Jenkins. And
that will be
Jackson,
very fun. That's one
yeah.
I for sure got circled.
We have. You're right. We haven't seen Sean since April of when he lost to Dan Ige. Before that, he was on quite the run. So, and Jack Jenkins is weird that a guy from America and Australia are fighting on this card. But nonetheless, that'll be a fun one. So, but yeah, we'll see. I don't really have anything else on the Shanghai. So go ahead.
Yeah. So the main thing I'm so happy that the UFC's on the China time zone is that I don't have to worry about dual screen or watching for Moses Atama is fighting Felipe Hergovich for the vacant IBF World Heavyweight title. The last time I saw Atama fight, I just loved his style. A young heavyweight coming up, only 14-0, very fast. We've been kind of waiting for the big fight for him. Kind of been waiting for him to, get put in a moment like this where he might see some adversity. And I do think Felipe Hergovich is the perfect test for that. I love that this is a belt. I know a lot of people are saying that Atama is being pushed up a little bit too soon. I do not think so. I mean, no better time like the present. I'm very interested to see if Atama could finish him early or if he's going to have issues with Hergovich. Because, Hergovich is a very good heavyweight in his own right. He only has one loss. But I do expect Atama to be able to get this done. I do think this will be like his moment to lose. But Hergovich knows that, and he kind of has a chip on his shoulder for how Atama has been getting treated. A lot of people are saying he gets, preferential treatment with Frank Warren and stuff. But, when you have stock like this and you just keep executing in your fights, this is what should happen. So I'm glad that he is kind of cashing in some of that stock. And I am very excited for the Umar Song fight. But as far as like future stuff in the sport of boxing, especially because we're seeing a lot of these like UK heavyweights age out. I'm so divorced from the Fury Joshua fight. I do not.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that before we went out of here. Before we got out of here,
about it. Like, this is the future of the heavyweight division on Saturday. So I cannot wait for this fight.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on the Joshua and Tyson fight, the Fury fight. I thought this was going to happen. Now I'm not so sure, Bobby. Like, it just seems like it's just too messy at this point in time.
Yeah, but we kind of always knew this would be the case when you have all these different personalities, figures, egos involved. I'm not even referring to any of the fighters at this juncture because they're obviously a big part of it too.
Right.
But it's weird because I keep trying to ask myself if I cared more about this fight, would I feel different about it? I think in the end it will get figured out, but I think because I have like no expectations for this fight, I'm really not too bothered by it one way or another. I know a lot of people find it more interesting with like Dana's involvement and what's going to play out. I kind of get the aspect of Netflix saying, hey, we want this in Madison Square Garden if we're the one paying it. And the Saudis have seemingly took Turkey's checkbook away because of the war in Iran. So, none of these things are going to get fixed overnight. So,
right.
we'll
And for the people that don't know, so like this has obviously been a rumored fight the last few months again, and it seemed like everything was kind of on track. This last week, Eddie Hearn said he's made an addendum to the contract because on Joshua's contract, it says it's supposed to happen in London. That doesn't seem like it's going to happen, or in Europe, doesn't seem like that's going to happen. TKO is trying to get this put in Madison Square Garden the night before the MSG card, so it'd be like a TKO weekend in New York, and they're trying to do it there. Who knows?
Did that part ever get confirmed, or is that more speculation?
I'm pretty sure that was confirmed. They were trying to put it on that Friday night before the UFC.
I mean, I could see it. It's in their bag, but when I saw it, that was the one part I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. So, we'll see what happens there. At first, I thought this fight was going to happen, right? They were announcing this shit on Netflix and shit. I saw previews of it when I was watching. I don't know what I was watching, but I was like, oh shit, this thing's coming to Netflix. And now I think I saw it once. It was Raw. I was watching Raw. That's what it was. And I've seen it once since, and I haven't seen it since. I saw it once then. I haven't seen it really since. So, it'll be interesting if that fight happens. It's it should really be the third time that they're fighting, just much like Pacquiao Mayweather. Mayweather. When they fought, that should have been the third time they fought. So, but that's kind of my thoughts on that.
Yeah, I will maintain if you want to watch elite heavyweight boxing for the IBF World Heavyweight title, just watch Moses Atama versus Felipe Hrgović this weekend. Whether they get to Fury or not, I do not think the boxing community will be missing out on this one, especially after that last AJ performance. I understand the kind of big fight feel it will have, but I really feel like that is really all it's going to be, is
Right.
the build and stuff for it. I expect very little from the fight itself with what I've seen from the last couple times. And granted, they're both getting towards the end, so it might be right from that aspect, but I don't think I have any lower expectations for a quote unquote big boxing fight down the line than this.
Yeah, I'd probably agree to that as well. Bob, you got any final other thoughts before we get up out of here?
No, I think that basically covers it all. Yeah. Check out Moses Atama. I promise you won't be disappointed.
All right. I promise you won't be disappointed if you tune into Headkicks Haymakers next week right here, 8 o'clock Central, 9 Eastern. We'll cover the UFC Shanghai card, go over all the results. I'm not even too sure what the card is. Oh, there is no card after that, Bobby. It's a free weekend. Labor Day weekend, no card.
Really? I thought they were doing the Saladin Parnasse.
Oh, is that? Yeah, you're right. That is the 5th. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Hooker Parnasse. Another, that's more midday on the 5th. Hooker and Parnasse fight. So
that's an elite main event. Can't wait to. It's long overdue. Can't wait to get into that one.
So we'll preview that as well. So other than that, folks, be a friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share. We'll see you right back here next week. Be a friend, tell a friend. Have a great weekend. Watch the fights.
Thanks so much for joining us, and until next time, let's talk sport, friends. Thanks for watching.
Right at an hour. Right at